bottom of the 7th inning when the Blue Jays scored 5 times to tie a game they eventually lost. That is because Tampa Bay has been dominant so far, winning all 5 they've played this year. Perhaps a change of fortunes tonight. We'll see. Let's send it up to the booth. There's Dan Shulman and Joe Siddle.
Jamie, thank you. The Blue Jays have actually scored 11 runs in the first 2 games of this series, Joe. They've both been losses because they haven't been able to contain the Rays. They think they've got the right guy on the mound tonight.
Well, the right guy is Dylan Cease. If you want to stop a losing streak, that's what he did last time out. He's going to try to do it again tonight against a much more difficult lineup in the Rays. But against the Angels, he was locked and loaded. Did not walk a batter, struck out 10. And Dylan Cease is like many pitchers. They're very watchful of their delivery. They want to be in tune. The difference is when Cease is in tune, he's got electric stuff, and he can absolutely dominate a lineup. The slider's been outstanding. The curveball's been outstanding. He's mixed in the sinker this year. We've seen the changeup against left-handers as well. And, oh, by the way, maintained that high-velocity fastball for the entire 7-inning appearance.
An outstanding outing for Cease against the Angels. This is a different kind of challenge. The Rays are a good offensive team. They don't strike out much at all. But boy, Jamie, could the Blue Jays use a victory here tonight?
Yes, indeed. And as Caleb said on Blue Jays Central, Cease has eyes on improvement tonight, improving from a 7-inning, 10-strikeout performance. Let's see what Vladdy, Springer, and the rest can do. It's coming your way next on Sportsnet 1.
Rogers Blue Jays baseball on Sportsnet. The final game of the series between the Rays and the Blue Jays. And the Blue Jays just trying to beat Tampa Bay for the first time this season. It'll be Griffin Jax, who started off the year as a reliever. Of course, he's been a reliever for a number of years, but he is moving into the rotation for the Rays against Dylan Cease and that man, Chandler Simpson. If you were watching a couple of nights ago, you know all the mayhem and chaos and problems that he caused. Let's see if the Blue Jays can contain him tonight. Also, Jonathan Aranda has been a huge problem for the Blue Jays, not only in this series, but also last week down in St. Petersburg. 1 through 4 is where most of the trouble lies. And again, this is a very tough team to strike out. They make a lot of contact. This is a very interesting matchup with a guy like Dylan Cease.
He's making his 9th start of the season. You see that ERA just under 2.6, and he earned his 3rd win of the season in that last start against the Angels. Back-to-back starts now where he's gone 7 innings. He's walked 1 and struck out 17 in those 2 starts. And I think with Dylan, he's becoming a little bit more predictable this year, and that's something he talked about in spring training. He was so four-seam fastball, slider heavy that he's mixing in his other pitches, and that's making him one tough customer. Behind Cease for the Blue Jays tonight, it's the same lineup as Monday against Drew Rasmussen, with the exception of the guy behind the plate. So Pinango, Varsho, and Sanchez are in the outfield. Kazuma Okamoto making his 40th start of the season at third base. Jimenez and Clement up the middle. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. at first. And Tyler Heidemann checks in behind the plate.
Making his first start of the series, there's that man Simpson, a .314 hitter on the season. He had 3 hits, 2 stolen bases, and 3 runs scored on a Monday night. But as the old saying goes, Joe, you can't steal first base. And the best thing that Dylan Cease can do for himself and the Blue Jays is keep Simpson off base if that is possible. He slashes the first pitch to left field, and it will be caught by Pinango. And maybe that's a good omen. 1 pitch in. Simpson is heading back to the dugout.
I don't know if you're like me, Dan, but I was waiting very curiously to see that at-bat end, and it ended very quickly.
So 1 quick out, and here is Junior Caminero, a .255 hitter, 11 home runs. And a fastball will catch the outside corner. It's 0-1. Caminero had a rough night at third base last night, but obviously they usually expect to get a lot more out of him offensively than defensively, as he has to back away from a 2-seamer that ran way in on him.
And that's the sinker I'm talking about, using a little bit more this year to right-handers. It's a bit of an equalizer, not allowing hitters to lean out over the plate. Don't see pitchers pitch inside a ton in the game anymore. That's something we'll talk about on the Rays side. They do it very well.
Slider off the outside corner, ball 2. And right on the corner with a slider, 2-2.
You saw those numbers against fastballs. That's why when you do throw it, you miss in off, and you're really just setting it up to get them out with the breaking balls away.
Now Diaz a couple of spots away. We are just underway here on this Wednesday night. Final game of not only the series but the homestand for the Blue Jays. 2-2 is off the outside corner. Didn't miss by much, but it's full. Jonathan Aranda waiting on deck. The Rays winners of 16 of their last 18 games. Very shallow left field. In comes Pinyango for the second out.
Confidence to throw a very tough hitter, especially one that handles fastballs really well. A slider in that full count. Well executed.
So 2 down for Cease, and now Jonathan Aranda. And all Aranda has done in the series is go 4 for 7 with a home run and 2 sacrifice flies. One of them brought in that second run in the 10th inning last night, and that proved to be a very important run because the Blue Jays got 1 back in the bottom half but couldn't tie it. You and I have been talking about him a lot for the last couple of nights. Just one of the better hitters in the game. Does not get the attention that a lot of other top flight hitters get, but boy, is he a tough out.
And I think if the Rays keep playing the way they are, and I mean it can only last so long, but he is going to get more attention because he is one of their big 3 down here, and when a team is winning like they are, they'll start gaining much more national attention.
Up high with a changeup. It's 2 balls and a strike on Aranda. Kevin Cash has been the manager of the Rays for 11 years entering this one, and they have won the season series from the Blue Jays in 10 of those 11 seasons. Curveball in for a strike, 2-2. Cease continues to mix. Ball up and in, and Aranda gets a piece of it. That was 98 there from Cease.
Looked like Heineman wanted that away, but it certainly served its purpose. You just wonder as a hitter what he's thinking. He's thinking he's just trying to come inside on me. Come in there again.
He got him. Ran the 2-seamer back over the inside corner to freeze him and get him. And Dylan Cease sets down the top of the Rays order in the top of the first. Rays can score in the first inning. Look at the lineup here tonight with George Springer DHing up top. Yohendrick Pinyango in the 2 spot again. He had a 2-run double in that 5-run 7th inning a night ago. As Joe mentioned, the same lineup as Monday night, except Tyler Heineman is catching. They got a couple of lefties back-to-back, 5 and 6. And Griffin Jacks, who is transitioning from the bullpen to the rotation, 4 innings and 59 pitches his last time out, so not quite yet fully stretched out.
Originally drafted by the Twins back in 16, he was traded to the Rays at the deadline last year in the deal that brought Taj Bradley to Minnesota. He's in his 6th season. The ERA is at 5, 14 games this year, but the last 3 have come as a starter. And he went 4 innings in his last one, getting up to 59 pitches.
Blue Jays did not see him last week down at the Trop as Springer fouls the first one back. Springer has seen Jacks here and there over the years and has had success against him, 3 for 5 with 2 home runs. This one back off the mound. Rolls will charge and get him by a step. 1 down.
Such a good job by Walls coming to get that ball. He knows that he has Springer running, maybe not at 100%, But good idea for the pitcher anyway. Leave it for your shortstop. That's a pretty sure-handed shortstop in Taylor Walls.
Yeah, that's one of the best defensive, not only shortstops, but infielders in the game. And Springer is retired. That'll bring up Piñango. His big league career, Piñango 12 for 32. That's a .375 average. 10 singles, 2 doubles, 2 walks, only 4 strikeouts in 32 at bats. A line drive hitter who's done it again. Into left center for a 1-out single.
Just a beautiful line drive approach by the Blue Jays left fielder. Short to the baseball and just shoots it into that left center gap. He hits line drives all over the field.
And again, it tells you what his manager thinks of him, that as soon as he came back for the minors, here he is hitting in the 2 spot again. They want to get him up a lot. He is swinging the bat very well. 1 on, 1 out for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who hits a roller up the middle. They'll get the out there and turn the double play. Guerrero going after a 97-mile-an-hour pitch on the inside corner up the middle, and the Rays turn 2.
Well, when the Blue Jays were recruiting Dylan Cease this offseason, part of their pitch to him was how they could help him develop some new pitches and deepen his arsenal. A changeup for lefties, a sinker for righties. The idea was that by leading into new pitches, his best pitch would get even better, and that is exactly what has happened. Look at how much better his slider is playing this year, as good as it's been playing since his Cy Young candidate season in 2024. Whiff rate up, chase rate up, hard hit rate down. He's yet to allow an extra base hit off of it, and he's getting chased with his slider at a career high rate. The Blue Jays pitching group, they feel that because Cease has been so bought into mixing his changeup and two-seamer into his arsenal, forcing hitters to respect those pitches and getting them off of his 2 primary offerings, his slider has gotten even better. In Cease's words, his changeup and sinker aren't metrically impressive pitches, but Dan, they're helping make his best pitch even better.
Arden, thank you. 3 up, 3 down, top 1. Here's Yandy Diaz, top 2. We gave this stat during his last start against the Angels as Diaz steps in a .293 hitter on the season. Last year, Cease threw his fastball and or slider, his forcing fastball and or slider, 83% of the time. That's down to 66% this year. So instead of throwing his other stuff 17% of the time, it's now 34. He's throwing his other stuff twice as often. Do you buy into why that is taking him to another level right
Absolutely.
now? Yeah. Ground ball to second, scooped up by Ernie Clement, 1 down.
A lot of it, I think, is made up against lefties. We're seeing the changeup a lot more. Righties, we're seeing the sinker a lot more. We saw it in the first inning. Now we're starting to see the sinker to lefties inside that front hip sinker, the way he struck out Aranda to end that first inning. When you're unpredictable, that's one thing. When you're unpredictable with 4 and 5 and 6 different quality pitches, that's ace material. That's what it is. Now it's a matter of keeping it all together for 7 innings. Back-to-back 7-inning starts for Dylan Cease coming into tonight. That's what he's striving for.
Yeah. Getting deep into games, keeping the walks down. He just threw back-to-back curveballs. Didn't like the first one. Threw it again and got a swing and a miss. Another thing about Cease this year, his fly ball rate is at an all-time low, a career low for him. His ground ball rate is at an all-time high. Obviously, fly balls can hurt you more than ground balls. Is it those 3rd, 4th, 5th pitches that are also leading to more ground balls and fewer fly balls?
I wouldn't even say the different particular pitches. I would say the variety. Again, hitters can't sit now. You just said 83%. They can pick one, forcing fastball or slider, and sell out on it. When you sell out on a pitch, you're probably going to catch it out front a little bit more and get it in the air. So now he's got all of these other offerings to mix it up. 6 different shapes, as he likes to talk about. Now hitters can catch a fastball really deep because they might have been thinking slider, or they catch the breaking pitches out front. Those are ground ball pitches.
On the appeal, he went around, says Chris Siegel down at 3rd, and Jake Fraley strikes out.
Well, Jake Fraley does not like the call, but he's not the first guy to do that. against Dylan Cease. Didn't look like he went too far, but maybe a bit too much.
Strikeouts are brought to you by Subway. Get 25% off any footlong on game days. Order in the Subway app using code STRIKEOut. 2 down here in the second, and here's Richie Palacios. Palacios, the second baseman, who has had a very productive series for the Rays. Had 3 hits and 3 RBIs on Monday. And then last night in the 10th inning, had a fly ball to deep left that advanced the automatic runner from second to third in the top of the 10th. Forced the infield in. Walls gets a base hit through the drawn-in infield. I still don't know how he made contact to that pitch. It was at his chin, up high, and he hit it to the opposite field, to the warning track and left.
Fastball way up and out of the zone, and he was able to get the barrel to it, and it just kept going. It fooled Piñongo, I think, too, in left field, the way it kept carrying.
The 1-2 from Cease. He got it. Strike 3 called right at the knees. And Dylan Cease is off to an impressive start here tonight. 6 up, 6 down, 3 strikeouts in the early going. Folks, when the dome is open, the outfield district is where you want to be. Experience game day your way with general admission access to the ballpark and fan favorite spots like the Corona rooftop patio and the WestJet flight deck. Grab your tickets today at bluejays.com/outfield district. Maybe by the next homestand they'll be able to open the roof. Spring, it seems like spring is coming.
It's trying.
Yeah, we looked at the weather in Detroit and New York for the road trip that's coming up, and it looks like spring's coming there. Actually, it looks like New York is skipping right into the middle of the summer.
Yeah, they missed spring. Into the heat of it.
Yeah. Kaz Okamoto takes a little bit inside. Very close pitch. And it is 2-0 on the Blue Jay cleanup hitter again tonight. Okamoto 1 for 8 so far in the series. The Rays have pitched him tough. That's just high, but a challenge coming.
Call the ball. The catcher's challenging.
The catcher Hunter Fiducia wants to challenge. This closer look is brought to you by Specsavers. And it just does clip the top of the zone.
I feel like the Rays have done this very well all series, and even down in St. Pete, they'll run those fastballs on the inner part of the plate to the righties. They'll use the breaking balls away. Oldest thing in the book. Hard in, soft away.
It feels like the Rays as a staff, once they get their game plan, they stick to the game plan. Like, as you have said, you can tell what they're trying to do.
Yeah, and I think, too, when you look at the different styles, Drew Rasmussen does it with a harder fastball. He's in the 96 range. Nick Martinez did it 92. But if you execute, that's pitching. And I think sometimes in this game, when you look over the last 10 years, when the velocities have gone through the roof, there's a guy that knows all about this stuff. And he's probably a little bit old school, too, is that you can't necessarily pitch when sometimes everybody's throwing 96 and the velocities are through the roof.
Good take there by Okamoto on a breaking ball down and away, and he draws a leadoff walk. That'll bring up Dalton Varsho, who made, I think, one of the more memorable catches any Blue Jay has made so far this season. An absolute rocket off the bat of Jonathan Aranda. He had to get back to the wall in a hurry and somehow hung on to the ball. John Schneider was asked before the game today, is Varsho okay? And he cracked a smile and said his chin's a little sore, but other than that, he's totally fine.
I think he must feel like he got punched in the chin. And the way he went after that ball, had to make an adjustment late, coming off the bat of a left-handed hitter. The ball was slicing away from him as well, but that wall literally stopped him in his tracks.
Okamoto at first, 1-0 on Varsho, hitting an even .250 on the season. Fouls back a fastball, and it's 1-1.
But I think with all of the velocities in the game, getting back to my point, is you don't see as much pitching as throwers. They just keep coming up. But now what we're seeing on this side, guys can pitch because they're commanding the baseball. When you do that, whether it's 92 or 96, pretty tough to hit when you're executing pitches like that.
Trying to come in on Varsho, and it's just in off the corner, ball 2. Looking down to Carlos Fablis. This is not a very likely combination for any kind of play to be on here. They really play Varsha to pull on the infield as he lines it to the opposite field, but it's going to be caught by Simpson for out number 1.
Boy, we've seen Dalton Varsha do that a lot. He hit that ball squarely, but right at the left fielder.
If you're a feel good about the process kind of guy, then that's a good result. But if you're looking for a base hit, you're still a little bit grumpy on your way back to the dugout.
If you're Dalton Varsha, you got to be happy with that at bat. Unfortunately, you're not getting the hit, but the more he does that, he's covering that pitch out there where a lot of teams are going on him.
One down. Here's Jesus Sanchez. Up there hacking, and he fouls it back 0-1. Sanchez came into the game last night as a pinch hitter in the 7th inning, batting for Davis Schneider, and had an opposite field RBI double, one of the big hits in that 5-run 7th inning. To center field, and it's down for a base hit. Mullins plays it on a bounce, and the Blue Jays have 2 men on.
Pretty good pitch by Jax. He gets the cutter in there, but Sanchez is able to fight it off. Big, strong man. Didn't maybe get it in there as much as he wanted, but he jammed him. But he's able to drop it in front of Mullins in center.
So the Blue Jays with 2 on and 1 out for Ernie Clement. Went 2 for 4 last night, hitting .295. Tied for 3rd in the American League with 49 hits. High in the air to left center. He's hit it a long way, but it is caught just shy of the wall by Mullins. And a long, loud out for Ernie Clement, the 2nd out of the inning.
Cedric Mullins was running out of room in left center field, but he had it. He was waving off his left fielder, and when he did that, that's when I thought, uh-oh, that thing's staying in here. Sinker down in the zone. Ernie got it in the air.
If he pulls it just a touch more, it's off the wall. 2 down for Andres Jimenez. And that's one of those, and whether it's valid or not, like as a team, if a team's going well, it's just enough to get to the wall. If a team's struggling, then it gets caught just in front of the wall, whether that's fact or fiction or, you know, some sort of bias, who knows. He hit it well, but Jimenez now pops one up, back to 3rd, down the line. Caminero and Walls are there. Walls will make the catch, and the Blue Jays will strand a couple of runners in the bottom of the 2nd. Dylan Cease has always been a guy who can strike people out. 5 consecutive years with 200 or more coming into this season, and this season 2nd in the major leagues among qualified pitchers in strikeouts per 9 innings, behind only Jacob Mizorowski of the Brewers.
And you know what all of those guys do is they throw fire, lots of high velocity on your screen, but what they also do is they have a nasty secondary pitch to go with it, sometimes even a couple of them. Mizorowski, we know we saw that curveball that goes with his triple digits fastball. Luzardo's got a sweeper and a changeup. DeGrom's got the slider and the changeup. Dylan Cease now all of a sudden has 4 and 5 other weapons.
And a lot of durability too. He's gone over 100 pitches 4 times already this season. 6 up, 6 down through 2. Here is Cedric Mullins, the center fielder. Fouls back a fastball, 0-1. Mullins hitting just 145 on the season, but he had one of the bigger hits in last night's game, and it kind of got forgotten about later because it was early in the game. But a 2-out, 2-run single into right center field in the 3rd inning.
It made it 3-0, and it just felt like such a big 2 runs that scored there on that swing from Mullins. Not the guy you're expecting to do any damage.
This one toward the right field corner. Sanchez will run it down for out number 1.
Hit a grand slam with your next project and head to your local Home Hardware. With over 1,000 locations across Canada, Home Hardware is locally owned, genuinely Canadian.
Glad you're with us tonight. Dan Schulman, Joe Siddall, Arden Zwelling. No score between the Rays and the Blue Jays. Top three. Hunter Fiducia, the catcher. Curveball called to strike at the top of the zone, and it's 0-1. Tampa Bay coming in with a record of 28-13. That is the best in the American League. And with a Yankee loss to the Orioles this afternoon, they're now 2.5 games up on the Yankees. The Yankees, by the way, got, and we don't know the severity of the situation yet, but Max Fried, their outstanding left-handed pitcher, left the game after 3 innings with some discomfort in his left elbow. Swing and a miss. Cease blows away Fiducia for the second out. The early comments about the elbow situation are that it might not be that serious. Fried himself said, I'm hoping to make my next start, but I don't know yet. But obviously, whenever you're talking about a pitcher and an elbow, there's some cause for concern. Blue Jays will be in New York for 4 games next week, their first meeting of the season with the Yankees. Ground ball down to first off the bat of Taylor Walls. Guerrero will make the play, and that's 9 up and 9 down for Dylan Cease. Are you a Rogers customer? Watch for Canada's winning inning during the game. When the Blue Jays get ahead, you could win amazing prizes courtesy of Rogers Beyond the Sea. Tyler Heineman will lead it off here in the bottom of the third. Heineman making his first start of the series. Griffin Jacks on the mound for the Rays. His 4th start of the season. He was a starter for the most part in his rookie year with Minnesota back in 2021, but a reliever for the next several years up until a couple of weeks ago. But some injuries in the Tampa Bay rotation, and they have decided to stretch Jacks out and see if they can make him, at least for the meantime, into a starter. That's low, and it's 2-0 on Heineman.
Jacks came up as a starting pitcher, but just early in his second season, they put him in the pen. Had some good seasons in the bullpen for the Twins, but not playing up. And now you see him with all of the pitches that he had. Now he's, as a starting pitcher, starting to use them all and be a little bit more, we use that word, unpredictable. You have to be when you're trying to navigate a lineup 3 times.
Devin Cash looking on from the first base dugout. Heineman, Springer, and Pinyango here in the bottom of the third. And got this one off the end of the bat. Very shallow left field, and Simpson in for the first out. So once through the order, Jacks has given up a couple of hits and a walk. Did get a double play ball to erase a base runner with the first. And now with 1 out in the third, we'll face George Springer for the second time. Springer grounded out to short his first time up.
Always helps too when you're in that 95, 96, 97 range for those pitches right there. You get George maybe thinking about that sinker in on a first pitch, and that just buckles him. It's a free strike for Jacks.
Had some pretty good years in the Minnesota bullpen. Was a teammate of Louis Varland's in that Minnesota bullpen. Both guys traded at the deadline last year when the Twins made all kinds of changes. One guy now starting, one guy now closing. Taken low by Springer. 2 balls and a strike. Guerrero a couple of spots away. Didn't go, and it's 3-1. I got here at about 2:10 today, and as I'm unpacking my stuff in the booth, I look down, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is hitting balls off a tee. And he
on the field.
On the field, yes. With David Popkins there, among others. Springer draws a walk. And he did it for at least 45 minutes. I have never in my life seen anybody do this for as long. And obviously, they're trying to figure all sorts of stuff out to try to get Vladdy back where he is. Why is T-work so important?
Well, T-work is usually done in the cage because you continue to put balls on the tee and you're just working on your swing mechanics and your body control. You can move the tee around, you can work on the ball in, you can work on the ball away, but you do it on the field because then you can see the flight of the ball. So some of those balls we saw hit right there, if he was hitting those into left center, ideally you want those balls being driven straight to left center field. You don't want them hooking toward that left field line. If that's the case, it means you're getting out and around it, and that's a no-no. That's not what you want to do. We know that's been his issue a lot, his forward move, and he's playing a lot of catch-up at times, and he's late.
Right, and we don't know exactly what the messaging is and the mechanics is. Obviously, that's none of our business. That's their business, but we can tell you, because we have heard this from a number of people, both before the game, before we generally see it, because a lot of it's in the cage, and after the game, Guerrero is taking a ton of extra BP, trying to figure this out. Here's Piñango, who had a base hit to left in the first.
Can you talk to hitters at any level, whether it's in the minor leagues, the big leagues, when you're struggling, how do you correct things? You have to swing a bat. You have to just keep going after it. It's reps, continuing, and different types. Could be off the tee, could be soft toss, batting practice, machine.
Line to first for a double play. More good contact from Piñango, but unfortunately this one finds the glove of Aranda. And that's the second double play the Blue Jays have hit into, and the inning is over. You know how much of an annoyance Chandler Simpson was for the Blue Jays. He had not one, not two, but three infield hits here in the game. You have to do everything perfectly to get him out on a ball on the ground, and then if he gets on, he's not hanging around at first very often. The three infield hits give him 19 on the season. That is 7 more than anybody else in the major leagues has. He's not looking to hit it a mile. He's just looking to try to hit it hard somewhere and run to first base.
Speed just puts so much pressure on the defense. It can be pressure on the fielders trying to make a play. It can be pressure on the catchers, and they rush their throws and they go into left field. It happens all around the field, but everyone on the defense when this guy steps to the plate.
And then as the pitcher, you've got to think about him, and you've got Caminero and Aranda and Yandy Diaz coming up. You want to focus all of your attention on those three dangerous hitters, but boy, can he be a distraction. Okamoto way in at third. What a play by Okamoto. Back to his feet, and he gets him. And even Kaz had to crack a little smile on that play.
And that's not just a great play, it's an important play for the Blue Jays. Okamoto takes extra bases away from Simpson. More importantly than anything, it keeps him off the base pass. What a play by the Blue Jays third baseman. Coming in, playing in for the bunch. You have to play him in. Not a lot of reaction time there.
A big first out here in the fourth, thanks to Okamoto. 10 in a row now set down by Cease. And here's Caminero, 0 for 1. Curveball drops in, 1-1.
Remember playing in the minor leagues against Eric Young Sr., and he was with the Vero Beach Dodgers in the Florida State League. Here's a guy that went on to steal almost 500 bases in the big leagues, but I'll never forget as a catcher. Those are the guys you don't forget, and that's what Simpson certainly reminds me of what you feel as a catcher behind the plate. You are just all tensed up and absolutely ready to come up throwing every single pitch. Well, every time he's on base, that's happening, so you know how the defenders feel, and it just puts everyone on edge.
Slider in a good spot there from Cease. It's 2-2.
Dylan is a real student of the game, and he talks so much about his delivery and trying to be sound.
Fastball line hard the other way for a base hit, and that's the first base runner of the night for the Rays.
Looked like he got it out there where he wanted to. Just a really good piece of hitting from Caminero. He can hit a fastball.
That came in at 99 and went out at 111. Here's Aranda, who was called out on strikes in the first. They really play him to pull. Okamoto's way over towards the shortstop position. Bounced in and blocked by Heineman. You see Aranda looking up at the scoreboard there. He's likely looking at the pitch metrics of what Cease just threw, and it was a first pitch slider. It could have been the velocity. It could have been the shape of the pitch.
Maybe even the pitch.
Yep.
Was it a slider? Was it a curveball, changeup?
So pitchers like looking back every now and again to see what the numbers are, but hitters will take the opportunity as well.
And I think as a hitter, when you look up there and you see that a slider was like 90 miles per hour, it's like, okay, that's that's a hard slider. Maybe didn't break as much as one previously.
Fastball just high. That's a pretty good take there by Aranda. Some discipline on that one. Caminero at first, one out in this scoreless game. Swings through a fastball, 2-2.
Effortless 99. It's just, and that's what I mean about his mechanics. When he's in tune, I think we've really seen him put it together these last couple of starts, and that's what's allowed him to go deep in these last two games.
In the air, left center, shallow, dropping, and in there for a base hit. A soft single into left center for Aranda, and the Rays have two men on.
Tough hitter. Slider coming in on his hands, and he just scoops it out of there. Gets jammed with it, but he drops it into shallow left center field. It's a good swing path, though. Is that a lucky hit? Yes, but those are the hits, too, that I say are the result of a pretty good swing path by a pretty darn good hitter.
So now 2 on, 1 out for Yandy Diaz, who grounded out his first time up. Cease lets it go. Lets Clement make the play, and they turn 2. Good pitch. Good decision on the mound to let it go. Good turn by Ernie Clement. And oh yeah, how about a great defensive play in the hot corner to start off that half inning. Still no score. You know that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is struggling. Last 12 games, does not have an extra base hit, and just 6 for 45, a 133 average. That's why he was taking all of that extra BP, 45 minutes on his own off the tee early today on the field. And then he did this. They started pitching to him eventually and hit a bunch of home runs. The last swing he took, the ball went out, and I think playfully, almost poking fun at himself, is almost just to remind himself, oh yeah, this is what it feels like to round the bases. And again, I was here, you were here for part of it too, we watched it. There was a playful nature about him, and we all know he's better when he is in a good mood, feeling good about things. And who knows, like, he grounded into a double play on the first pitch in the first inning. You know eventually it's going to turn. Nobody wants to turn it around more than him, but I thought that was interesting, him with a smile on his face, poking fun at himself around the bases.
You have to have fun at some point. I'm sure his teammates had a lot of fun too, saying, hey Vlad, you run that way, go to your right. There's first base, now turn left. You have to have a little fun in this game. It'll drive you absolutely up a wall, especially with the expectations that are on his shoulders. He has to perform, and it hasn't been good. And I'm sure he feels more than anything that he's letting his team down.
Takes a couple of fastballs up, and it's 2-0. It has been a while, 20 games between home runs. Which, by the way, is not the longest streak of his career. He had a 27-game single-season homerless streak. He's had another one at 21 earlier in his career, 20 right now. He'll take it low, ball 4. But let me ask you this, and I think I know what your answer is going to be. should he be focusing just on swinging at the right pitches, giving his best swing and hitting the ball hard? And if that happens, then eventually the power comes.
Yeah, I think with his swing mechanics, there is a lot going on physically for him because there are so many movements. So that's what makes it very tricky. But for me, like a lot of hitters, when they struggle, you've got to get back to being on the fastball.
Right.
Get on the fastball and catch a fastball out front. Now, what that might mean is you might flail out a break and pitch away every once in a while. It happens. I look at this guy, what Kazuo Okamoto's done. He looks like that to me in the batter's box now. He's comfortable on all of the pitches. Does it mean he'll never chase a slider? No. But he'll be on some fastballs. And that's the first thing. I think Vladdy's just all in between, right? We've seen so many at-bats where it's like, was he looking for breakable? Was he looking for fastball? And that's when you start to overthink it because you start pressing and chasing hits. It's a downward spiral, and it's not a lot of fun.
John Schneider said yesterday that he feels part of the issue is that Guerrero's now trying to do too much. And Guerrero, do we have a balk? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Vladdy wanted to do a little groundskeeping. He was pointing at Laz Diaz, and Diaz started walking in towards the mound, but Laz was just calling time because Vladdy wanted to smooth out a rough spot in the dirt.
Get a good secondary lead a few times, and your feet get out there, ruffle up that dirt.
2-1 the count on Okamoto. And a roller out to second. Walls across the bag and on to first, and that's the third double play the Blue Jays have hit into already.
Well, Griffin Jacks can get some ground balls, and oftentimes from the righties it's the sinker or a little breaking ball, and he catches Okamoto out front here. Taylor Walls coming across the bag. He is a very graceful up the shortstop position.
2 ground ball double plays, 1 line out into a double play. Blue Jays are getting their base runners, but unable to get anybody home. Here's Dalton Varsho. Lined out to left in the second.
This guy, for me, has starter stuff. I mean, he looks like a starter to me because he's got the variety of pitches. He's got the good velocity if he can keep it throughout his start.
You know, it makes you think a little bit about Spencer Miles. The Blue Jays will have a spot start on Saturday. If Miles isn't needed tonight, then it sounds like he'll be a big part of it, probably as a spot starter on Saturday. A lot of people wanting the Blue Jays to stretch Spencer Miles out. Different situation given how few innings Miles has pitched in recent years because of injuries. Jax has not been in that situation, but a tantalizing thought because Miles has been so good. That is just low, and it's 3-1. But the Blue Jays have decided to push the regular starters back a day, give them an extra day of rest. So after an off day tomorrow, it'll be a spot start. It'll be a Savage on Friday, a spot start Saturday, and then Gausman Sunday in Detroit.
Lots to like about Spencer Miles, especially those 3 innings that he pitched, but I just still feel like you have to tread carefully there with a guy with such an injury history. And that doesn't mean an injury has to come again, but I think you just tread carefully and let him keep doing that and keep it paced. And I think that's where they're at right now with him. If you start him, he told me that last start, they just told me I was starting. So we went out there, came in, said, you're going back out there. Came in again, said, you're going back out there. He was just following orders.
And I don't know if John Schneider's wording means anything or nothing, but he didn't say we're going to use an opener or we're going to have a bullpen game. He said it's a spot start on Saturday, and maybe that doesn't mean anything. It's a little bit of a different way of saying it, though. And Miles already went 3, so you know, maybe they're not thinking of making him a full-time starter, but maybe on Saturday they'll let him go 4 if the pitch count is okay.
Yeah, the word opener seems to be 1 inning handed over to a bulk guy. But now if a spot start can be, well, he went 3 last time. Can he go 3 again, or maybe a 4th? All depends how he does.
Challenge coming. First the appeal, no swing.
The catcher's challenging.
So now the challenge from Fiducia. It's a ball.
Confirm it's a ball. Tampa got 1 left.
Not by much, but it's a walk for Varsho, and the Rays lose one of their challenges. The first thing they asked asked for was the appeal.
Whoa.
Oh, boy.
Whoa.
Oh, boy.
That's when you're yelling from the Rays dugout to the umpire. If he had hit it, it'd have been a double.
So Varsho at first by the narrowest of margins on a couple of different fronts. And here's Jesus Sanchez, who had a base hit his first time up. Varsho dives back into the bag. He stole a base last night, is now 3 for 3 on the season. From Sanchez, his second hit of the night.
Well, this is what his swing right now is designed to do. It's line drives up the middle, the other way a little bit. He could be a very successful hitter this way. I think the Blue Jays were looking for more in the pop department and power department. But for now, Sanchez will take it. He's got 2 hits tonight.
So 2 on now with 2 out. Again, no shortage of base runners for the Blue Jays. They've had 7 men on in this game. 3 by hits, 4 walks. And remember, Ernie Clement came that close to hitting one off the wall in left center back in the second with a couple of men on. And he chased a sweeper. Well positioned down and away, and it's 0-1. Clement tends to see fewer first pitch fastballs than your average hitter. Pitchers know how aggressive he is. Popped up back of the plate, and it'll get out of play. It's 0-2. Clement, though, kind of picking up where he was last year. He's hitting in the 290s, getting a ton of hits, hitting his doubles. Got a couple of homers. OPS came into the game at 724.
He's had a hot streak. He's had a cold streak, but he's right back to being what we saw last year.
And Jax gets him to chase. Went back to the sweeper, down and away, and 2 more men left on here in the bottom of the 4th.
Z is for Zepbound. A is for asking. To begin the conversation.
Here at Rogers Center in a scoreless game, Dylan Cease, 4 innings, 2 hits, no walks, and 4 strikeouts. Again, against a team that is awfully hard to strike out. The only team in the majors that strikes out less frequently than the Rays is the Blue Jays. So last game against the Angels, Joe, that's a team that strikes out a ton. The Rays, a different situation, but Cease does have 4 through 4 innings, but looks like the guy he has looked like the last couple of starts, throwing strikes, mixing his pitches, and getting some quicker outs too, which should allow him to get deeper into the game.
He knows how important strike 1 is, but his stuff is just so good. He can come back in any counts, but with the wider variety of pitches, makes it much more difficult on hitters. It used to be a 50-50 game for the most part with his 4-seamer and slider.
Changeup finds the zone, and it's 0-2.
Look at the reaction of the hitter. I mean, it just tells you. I'm sure he's thinking, what the heck was that? A changeup that just hung around the top of the zone.
Bounces in a curve for ball 1 to Jake Fraley, the right fielder who struck out his first time up. So he's facing the 5, 6, 7 hitters in the Rays lineup. Two-seamer back over the inside corner. Second time he has done that to a Tampa Bay hitter tonight. Well, Blue Jays fans, this is it. We are just a few hours away from the 50-50 grand prize draw. The winner's going to be drawn at midnight Eastern time. Head to BlueJays.com/5050 right now to get your tickets from Alberta, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and Ontario. Another changeup. Man, is he mixing, and man, is he putting his pitches where he wants to put them.
That is where he wants the changeup. What a beautiful thing. First pitch to a lefty. Another one.
And it's It's 0-2, and if you're a hitter and you have faced Dylan Cease in the past, you're like, who's this guy? Like, the old Dylan Cease was nasty, and he was a handful with the fastball and slider, but now he's got all these other pitches.
Yeah, you got to deal with the changeup if you're left-handed. Now let's see if he doesn't go up top with that maybe 99. Nope.
Tripled up on a changeup.
That surprised me a little bit, but only because that's not the type of pitch generally would triple up on. Very similar look. It's nothing to do with spin, really, like a curveball or a slider.
Griffin Jax 4 scoreless in his 4th start of the season. Quadrupled up on a changeup.
I don't know if I've ever called 4 changeups in a row, I'll be honest with you. I just find that very interesting because the changeup is a change of pace. You want it to change off of your fastball and your other pitches.
Trying to run that two-seamer in on a left-handed batter like he just did to Fraley. But Cease, who seemingly was in command in this at-bat at 0-2, it's now full on Richie Palacios. A swing and a miss and a slider for strikeout number 6.
Good, sharp, tight spin, and watch how late. That looks like a fastball to a hitter a lot of the way toward home plate until the very end when you decide to swing. Tight spin.
2 down. Here's Cedric Mullins, who lined out to right in his 1 at bat. See how efficient Cease has been as well. We have done some games where he's been really good, but he might be at 58 with 2 outs in the 3rd inning. Now he's at 58 with 2 outs in the 5th inning.
Just seems like he's in complete control of the zone.
That hit him? No, I don't think so. It's ball 1. Or did it? Mullins has taken off the elbow guard and heading down to first. I never saw any kind of a signal from Eric Backus.
Blue Jays are running to their telephone. Let's see.
Yeah, it did. Yep. Curveball down and in and got him on the inside of the left foot. And the shame of it is it's on an 0-2 count too.
Yeah, I think that's the reaction from Cease.
So now the number 8 hitter, Hunter Fiducia, who struck out in the 3rd. Mullins can run. Chop foul. Wouldn't be shocking at all to see Mullins go. The Rays are aggressive. 2nd in the majors in stolen bases. Mullins is 8 for 12. There he goes. He got a huge jump. Cease steps off, and they got him in a rundown. Guerrero to Clement, and Clement will run him down, tag him out, and retire the side. A little too jumpy, a little too soon. Somebody made Dylan Cease aware of it, and the Blue Jays infield took care of the rest.
Good job by the pitcher. Good job by infielders letting him know, and then they ran down Cedric Mullins. Not a problem at all.
Still scoreless here at the Rogers Center, and here's Jamie Campbell. Bring some of Toronto's World Cup soccer excitement to the ballpark. The first 15,000 fans into Rogers Center will receive an Andres Jimenez replica soccer jersey. And take note, it's a bit of a later start. First pitch is at 7:37 p.m. that night. Get your tickets now at BlueJays.com. And here is the Blue Jays shortstop to lead off the bottom of the 5th. Still no score. Jimenez with a career night in some ways on a Monday night. 2 homers, had never done that before. 5 runs driven in, had never done that before.
That's a career night.
That's a career night. Jack's out in front of him 0-2. As efficient as Cease has been, Jax has been as well, without all the strikeouts like Cease has, but there have been 3 double plays behind him. Seven base runners, but 3 double plays, so 4 men left on by the Blue Jays so far. Watches it hit the dirt for ball 1. Guerrero would be up 5th this inning. You see Springer, he's hitting 3rd. Pinyango hoping for an opportunity as the Blue Jays start to turn the lineup over through the 3rd time. Pulled to the right side and through for a base hit. That was 96, about 4 inches above the top of the zone, but he got to it.
He can really flatten that path out, and you have to on a pitch this high. Look how flat the barrel comes across, and he just gets it past Palacios at second and into right field.
Tyler Heineman, the batter, and you've got to think a bunt is at least a possibility. We have seen Heineman do it on several occasions.
They were out early today, bunting, weren't they?
Creeping in Caminero. Heineman squares and he gets it down to first. They will get him, but the sacrifice will move Jimenez to second. 3-4 on the putout.
Saw a few guys out there before batting practice today working on just that, and Tyler Heineman was one of them. Wouldn't you know it? Comes into play in the game for real.
So he advances Jimenez 90 feet. And again, the Blue Jays have a runner in scoring position, this time with 1 out for George Springer, who has grounded out and walked. Fouled it off, 0-1.
There's that sinker in on the right-handed batter. These Rays pitchers have really done a good job of that. See if he doesn't double up in there, or then he goes back with a slider away. And I think their unpredictability makes it tough too, because you don't know if they're coming in or going away with a slider, the sweeper. But you have to execute the pitches.
So that two-seamer to a righty, it starts off on the inner part of the plate, but by the time it gets to your bat, it's probably in off the plate by a couple of inches.
Yeah, or even as you go to swing, you think it's middle. You think it's a fastball right there, and by the time you make contact with it, it's all in on your hands, and you're barely able to foul it off.
And you might break your bat.
Yep.
Oh, he left a breaking ball up in the zone there. Springer swings through it, and it's 0-2. Like he checked it, no appeal, and it's a ball and 2 strikes. A look back at Jimenez, and the 1-2, and taken low by Springer. It's a 90-mile-an-hour changeup there from Jax. It's 2-2. You often hear about starters going to relievers, the stuff plays up. The opposite should be true, but his stuff isn't playing down much, even though he's going longer into the game.
Well, he's maintaining it pretty well.
That's good stuff. Up and away, and it's full. And again, Jack's not fully stretched out, so the bullpen is up. Hunter Biggie now throwing for the Rays. 4th start for Jax. He's gone from 31 to 45 to 59 and now 60 pitches here tonight in his 4th start.
George just battling there, staying alive, and he has to have that inside sinker on his mind, and that's what pitching inside will do. It keeps hitters off of the breaking ball or the stuff out over the plate.
Pinyango, who's hit the ball hard twice tonight, a base hit and then a line out into a double play. He's on deck. And a pop-up for the shortstop Walls. And that will be the 2nd out.
Got one hit there.
I'm sure George, he probably already knows it, obviously, but he'll check out the iPad and see that that breaking ball from Jax got a lot of the plate, but Springer popped it up for the second out. Here's Pinyango. Now 13 for 34 is a big leaguer. 382. Line drive hitter, more than a guy who gets the ball in the air a ton. You may have heard Caleb Joseph on Blue Jays Central saying, leave him right there. The power will come. Just let him keep hitting the ball hard. You agree?
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
And I think Caleb's right on to something. You let him keep being who he is. And as you get more and more comfortable at big league level, how many times have we heard it? Guys, the power comes a little bit later. Let it just evolve.
Didn't go, and it's a ball and a strike.
Caleb was also talking about the metrics that were up on the Jumbotron today during batting practices. This was something we haven't seen. We were standing down there thinking, I don't know if I've seen this before. And he explained that, talking to Lou Iannotti, it's a tool that they're using maybe to say, hey, how hard am I hitting the ball? How about the intent? Should we be changing anything? Gives you a little feedback right out here on the field.
The 1-1 from Jax. In there for called strike 2.
That's a good looking pitch from where we are right here, and you think, how does he not swing at that? Well, it's because it started inside. You give up on it and it comes back. That's just a great pitch.
It's the kind of pitch Cease has thrown a couple of times to left-handed batters on the Rays tonight. That front hip two-seamer bounced back towards the mound. Jax will make the play. Pinyango retired. Jimenez stranded, and there is still no score. Strikeout Spotlight is brought to you by Subway. Eat fresh, feel good.
Well, you just never know with this Tampa Bay Rays club. They don't strike out a whole lot, but they don't know Dylan Cease like we do, and he's using all of his pitches. 6 strikeouts of Rays hitters through 5 innings, and he is all around the edges of the zone. We've seen him using a variety of pitches, and he continues to set them down.
He's given up just 2 hits. They were back-to-back in the 4th. Got a double play ball to get out of that. And then he starts Hunter Fiducia with a strike here in the 6th. Fiducia was at the plate when Mullins tried to steal second and eventually got caught in that rundown. Just low, and it's a ball and a strike. Bounces in a breaking ball, ball 2. Fiducia, Walls, and then the leadoff man Chandler Simpson due up here in the 6th inning for the Rays. Fouled off, 2-2. Boy, another big crowd. It is packed again, it looks like, here on a Wednesday night in the middle of May. Just tapped foul. Got a changeup close enough to the strike zone that he figured, I better get my bat out there. Got him again with the front hip two-seamer.
The more we keep watching it, it's almost like, hitters, are you watching the same game we are? But it doesn't matter. Unless you're in the batter's box, it's just hard to pick up this pitch. And look at the movement on that baseball coming back to catch the inner part of the plate.
Strikeout number 7 for Cease, and here's Taylor Walls, who hit a ground ball to first in his one at bat. You know, one word we have used a few times over the course of the season about Dylan Cease is curious. And from day one, we heard both from him and from people like Pete Walker, Sam Green, Graham Johnson, John Schneider, that Cease was very open-minded, curious, asking questions from the initial Zoom call back in December or whenever it was, right until now. He's open to all ideas and accepts the help that he is being offered. to try to make him as complete of a pitcher as he can be.
There are so many tools and resources, your coaches and what they provide. In all of your drills, we've heard Dylan talk about his mechanics and his delivery and direction and how important the bottom half is. It's important for all pitchers, but when you've got his stuff, it's especially important.
He gets another one, gets wall swinging for out number 2.
Get game-changing internet and Canada's most reliable internet. Rogers Xfinity. We got you.
Dylan Cease having a great night tonight. Top of the order now. Chandler Simpson 0 for 2. Although he's hit the ball pretty well both times. Lined out to left in the first inning and then grounded out to third. Hit it sharply, and Kazuma Okamoto made a great play to rob him of extra bases. Looked like it might be headed down the line. Stop me if you've heard this before. The front hip two-seamer.
It's like he's landing in almost the same spot, too. Just beautiful. Tyler wants this one in the dirt.
He got it in the dirt.
Still amazed that catchers will actually do that. I mean, I used to call the curveball saying just with my hand as I'm giving the sign with fingers, point to the ground. But catchers now, they just point right out. I mean, if you do it too early, the on-deckers can alert the guy at the plate.
Missed way inside and almost hit him. It's 2-2. That was the front hip two-seamer again, but that was almost the in the hip two-seamer. Shakes a couple of times. And now Heineman will go to the mound. The pitch clock was running down, and they want to make sure they can agree on a pitch.
So much fun to catch a guy like this when he's executing, especially with the stuff that Dylan Cease has. And I'm sure Dylan had something in mind. So did Tyler. It wasn't the same pitch, though. Drew Butera and Pete Walker will talk a lot throughout the course of an inning, too, and then they'll touch base with their pitcher and catcher.
Inside, and it's full. Caminero on deck. 3-2. The appeal did not go, and it's not called a strike. So it's ball 4, and now Simpson has reached.
The pitch was close. The check swing was close, but neither enough.
Now Caminero. Simpson not going, and it's grounded out to short. Jimenez to Clement to force the lead runner and retire the side. A little pump of the fist from Dylan Cease. So the Blue Jays are off to Detroit after the game tonight. Have an off day tomorrow. Begin a series with the Tigers on Friday night. And wanted to let you know that Friday's game is a part of Major League Baseball's Apple TV Friday night baseball package. It begins at 6:30 Eastern time on Friday. We will be back with you on Saturday. You can watch Friday night baseball all season long, plus enjoy exclusive shows, movies, and new releases every week on Apple TV. We know Trey Savage is starting the Friday game. We know it's a spot start. Very likely Spencer Miles in the middle of that on Saturday. And then we know it's Kevin Gausman on Sunday against a Tigers team that is really going through it like the Blue Jays are right now. Ooh. A big cut by Guerrero, fouled off the mask of Eric Backus, the home plate umpire. Something detached, but it looks like Backus is okay. That little throat protector popped off.
It's just an add-on at the bottom of his mask there to protect neck area.
And Laz Diaz, the crew chief, has come down from first and asked Jose Ministral to come out of the dugout to make sure that Backus is all right. Backus is trying to work on the mask. Ministral is more concerned about Backus. And he is good to go. Meanwhile, it's a new pitcher. So Griffin Jackson goes 5 scoreless innings in his 4th start of the season, and now here's Hunter Biggie.
Hunter Biggie pitched an inning and 2/3 on Monday here, scoreless, and he's been very good for the Rays this season. Just giving up 4 earned runs, and 3 of them were in 1 outing in late April.
Got 5 outs Monday night. Guerrero, a double play grounder and a walk. And Biggie out in front of him, 0-2. Guerrero, Okamoto, and Varsho. No runs, 2 hits for the Rays. No runs, 4 hits for the Blue Jays. The Rays have left 2, the Blue Jays 5. Fouled off.
Got a high velocity fastball, 96-97 with that slider. Really just the 2 pitches that you have to be concerned with, but they're 2 pretty good ones.
The Blue Jays have actually, even though they've lost the 2 games in the series, they've done good work against the Tampa Bay bullpen that came into this series having allowed only 2 runs in its last 44 1/3 innings. They got 2 on a Jimenez home run off Ian Seymour on a Monday night, and all 6 runs they scored last night came off Kevin Cash's bullpen, which has been so good in recent weeks. That's Guerrero yelling no as he takes it outside. Ball 1. Another foul back. Jesus Sanchez has a couple of hits already in this game. Blue Jays have had some base runners, had some chances, but unable to break through thus far. And reaches for it and somehow managed to get a piece of it and foul it back. Pitch number 8 upcoming. Line to center field, but it's going to be caught by Mullins for the first down.
Doesn't throw many of them, but that was the splitter that time, and Vladdy was just a little bit out front. Still driving it deep to center.
Down here in the bottom of the 6th, and here's Kazuma Okamoto, who walked in the 2nd and grounded into a 4-6-3 double play in the 4th. Lays off and takes it low for ball 1. Okamoto was out today taking ground balls at first base along with Guerrero, and we saw Okamoto play first base a little bit earlier on in the season. He's played a fair bit of first base in Japan, and so the Blue Jays always want to keep a guy in the mix at another position. We have seen Lenin Sosa play first at times for the Blue Jays, but certainly wouldn't be surprising going forward if Vladdy's getting a DH day, if Okamoto's over at first. High and it's 2-2.
I was thinking before this at bat, this is the time of game where Mr. Okamoto could run into a fastball, but I'm not sure he's going to get one. Bunch of sliders from Biggie.
There's the fastball. And it's in the air to shallow center. Another opportunity for Mullins, and out number 2. They are the hottest team in baseball, and most of it is because of the pitching. Although the Blue Jays have scored 11 runs in the first 2 games of the series, they haven't won either of them. Tampa Bay, after starting the year 2-5, they've been great, and they're 16-2 in their last 18. They got the best record in the American League.
When we were down in St. Petersburg last week, Kevin Cash was asked the very first day, they were already on a nice little streak. How are you doing it? How are you doing this? He said pitching. But what else is pitching? What about pitching? And I'm sure his answer would be the same right now. They find a way to scratch and claw runs, but pitch, and pitch some more.
Fastball swung on and missed. 1-1 on Dalton Varsho, who has lined down and walked. This is high in the air to left, fairly deep, but it is playable shy of the track for Simpson. And the Blue Jays go in order in the bottom of the 6th. Fans celebrate a Blue Jays legend with the Roy Halladay replica retro jersey giveaway. On Monday, June 8th, the first 15,000 fans will receive a retro Halladay jersey. Buy your tickets now at bluejays.com/promotions. Dylan Cease, coming off 7 scoreless innings in his last start against the Angels, has put together 6 scoreless innings tonight against the Rays. Just 1 walk, 8 strikeouts, and a very manageable pitch count heading into the 7th.
7 left-handed hitters in this Rays lineup, and he has given them fits by really mixing in all of his pitches. We've seen the 4-seam fastball. We've seen that great sinker inside. He spun the ball really well, like that. The curveball and the slider. His newfound changeup's been a very good pitch for him. Very tough to sit on anything if you're left-handed against Cease tonight.
Big inning here, 3-4-5 for the Rays. This is Jonathan Aranda. And Heineman is saying that ball ticked the bat of Aranda, that ball was foul tipped into his mid, but Eric Backus does not appear to agree. Now they ask for an appeal on the swing, and Chris Siegel says no, so it's 3-0. And that's a leadoff walk. That's usually one where maybe the catcher hears something, right? As that ball's coming in.
The only reason Heineman would do that is maybe he heard a little click before it went in his glove, but I don't think so.
Just the 2nd walk given up by Cease, and here's Yandy Diaz, 0 for 2 on a couple of ground outs, one of them into a double play. Just low for ball 1. You can see Heineman nodding. He liked it, but Diaz wouldn't chase. A slider just below the knees.
Now that's a big hole on the right side for a guy that does not pull the ball a whole lot.
Now you can see on the infield a little bit to pull, on the outfield way over to the opposite field. Look where Sanchez is in right, because as you say, Yandy Diaz hits the ball to the right side a lot. Him up. Guerrero will make the catch. That's a fair ball, says Eric Backus. It's where the ball is, not where his feet are. But Vladdy actually took his eye off the ball and looked, I think, where Heineman was for a minute, then looked back up and made the catch. So that's 1 big out. And now here's Jake Fraley, who has struck out twice. Once swinging, once looking. Nothing like the first pitch strike. That is 16 now of the 23 hitters he's faced. He has started them with strike 1.
Boy, when he works ahead, he is just tough to get to with all of his pitches.
A little bit in. Lefty Garrett Clevenger, who got the save last night, is now up in the bullpen for the Rays. Inside, ball 2. The Rays, like the Blue Jays, have an off day tomorrow, so Kevin Cash can probably be a little bit more aggressive with his bullpen. Two and two. Now full.
He's gotten it with a slider and a sinker. He tried the changeup there. Didn't quite execute.
Aranda the lead, 1 out and a full count on Fraley. The runner is going. The throw down, they appealed, but there's no swing, so it's ball 4. So don't worry about what happened down at second base. Had it been ruled a swing, it would have been a strike him out, throw him out, inning ending double play, but it's ball 4, so none of that mattered. And now the Rays have 2 men on. And after walking only 1 in the first 6 innings, Cease has walked 2 here in the 7th. And here's Richie Palacios. 0 for 2 on a couple of strikeouts. And the first sign of bullpen activity for the Blue Jays. Mason Fluharty has just gotten up. Drive center field, and that's a base hit. Aranda is on his way to the plate and will score the first run of the ball game. For Richie Palacios, his 4th hit and 4th RBI of the series.
Changeup sounded like it was off the end of his bat. Pitch stayed up a little bit, even though it was on the outside corner. Didn't hit it hard, but he dropped it right in front of Varsho in center.
And Tampa Bay scores the first run of the night. You can see the frustration on the face of Cease. Tyler Heineman has gone to the mound, maybe as much just to give Mason Fluharty a little bit more time. Fraley stopped at second on the base hit. And really the walk's the issue here this inning.
Yeah, just came out really not close to Aranda, the first batter of this inning. It looked like he may have had Fraley, but held up on the check swing.
Cedric Mullins, the batter, a line out, and he was hit by a pitch. Couple of looks back at second, and in there with a strike, 1-1. Looks like Pete Walker's heading back to the phone again. Where is the spot where they decide to go to Fluharty? Jammed him, and it is popped up on the infield. The infield fly rule in effect. 2 down.
Kevin Cash has plenty of righties on the bench, so they're also going to consider the counter move. Tyler Heineman putting on the signs just in case they try something with 2 outs in terms of a double steal where they're throwing it. That's the conversation right now.
Yeah. If you do it here, Cash may go to this guy off the bench. Do we rather matchup A or matchup B? Here's Hunter Fiducia, a couple of strikeouts tonight. 0-1. A swing and a miss and a high heater. 0-2.
Similar pitch to the one they got him on back in the third inning, striking him out. See if he doesn't just stay hard again.
0-2 pitch. Stayed with a fastball, but Fiducia fouls it off. Again, the 0-2. And a challenge from Heineman.
On the ball, the catcher's challenging.
And you could see Cease was tapping the top of his hat as well. He feels pretty convinced about it. That ball got plenty of the plate. Strikeout number 9 on the night for Dylan Cease. The Rays do have the first run of the ball game. Cease and Heineman both convinced it's a strike. Cease came off the mound after the top of the 7th. He immediately looks at John Schneider and says, I got one more. One more. Then he looks out, I would guess, at the scoreboard to check his pitch count as he continues to walk towards the dugout. Obviously frustrated that that run scored, and judging by what we saw there, at least at this point, we think he is still in the game.
Looked like his first look to the right was to the Blue Jays bullpen, then back at the scoreboard.
Lefty Garrett Clevenger is into the game for the Rays. As we mentioned, he got the save in last night's game. Worked the 10th inning. Miles Straw will pinch hit for Jesus Sanchez. Here to begin the bottom of the 7th. They're in on the corners for the Rays. As Straw takes ball 1. Chatted with Miles today. His pull rate is at a career high. His fly ball rate is at a career high, and those are not coincidences. Those are things he came into this year really wanting to work on. He wants to take the ball on the inner half of the plate and pull it in the air. He said there's no point in me hitting fly balls to center or right. I can't do damage that way. If I'm going to do damage, I got to pull it.
Good time for it right now.
Yeah. They're coming in. Takes a strike, 1-2. He said it was something he started thinking about at the end of last year, but really put it into play this year, and he's hitting for average. He's popped a couple of home runs. You and I watch him take BP a lot. There's sneaky pop in this bat. And a swing and a foul tip into the mid of Fiducia as Clevenger strikes him out for out number 1. Well, maybe Cease is done. Maybe there was a handshake after the fact. The fact that he is now engaged with Max Scherzer, and somebody is up in the bullpen. So maybe there's a liner into left center. That's a base hit for Clement. An aggressive turn, but a good job by Simpson to get to it and get it back in a hurry. And Clement's aboard with a 1-out single.
Well, Ernie's looking for anything in the zone early, and he tees off on this sinker. He was thinking, too, out of the batter's box, but good job in the outfield to get to it quickly and get it in quickly.
1 on, 1 out. Lefty-lefty matchup here with Andres Jimenez. There goes Clement, and it hits Jimenez. And he is in pain.
It sounded like we heard that elbow guard, but clearly he felt the brunt of it.
Boone Chong, one of the assistant athletic trainers for the Blue Jays, and John Schneider immediately racing out from the dugout.
Clevenger will throw a lot of sinkers, 2 left-handers, and it just kept running in on him. Couldn't get out of the way. It looked almost as though it hit the guard, but he felt it enough that his elbow may have numbed right about here. He's like, he can't feel his arm.
We've all hit our funny bone, which isn't so funny, and I'm sure that was a lot worse than your typical funny bone moment. But as you said, maybe it was just something in the moment that, oh boy, but maybe it calms down pretty quickly. He has jogged down to first, so the Blue Jays have 2 on with 1 out, and it looks like Tyler Heineman has been called back. Lenyn Sosa is now in the on-deck circle. So Sosa is going to pitch it for Heineman, and here comes Kevin Cash. He had a righty up in the pen in Kevin Kelly, so he is going to make the move. So Clevenger out, Sosa in the game, Kelly on his way in the bottom of the 7th. More than 2.1 million right now with a 50-50 draw for Jays Care. The deadline is midnight tonight. Get your tickets at bluejays.com/5050. Well, some life in the ballpark right now. The Blue Jays are threatening. They've got runners at first and second with 1 out. Kevin Cash has gone to a right-hander in Kevin Kelly. And he made that move after John Schneider announced Lenyn Sosa into the game to pinch hit for Tyler Heineman.
Kelly's got that sinker. He'll run it in on the hands of righties. Sosa can handle the fastball.
And looks at strike 1 called. Clement is at second. Jimenez is at first. It's 1-0 Tampa Bay. Line to short and the toss to second for the double play. And it is the 4th double play the Blue Jays have hit into tonight, 2 of them on lineouts. And in this 1-0 game, you can see Louis Varland is coming on for the top of the 8th. Still 1-0 Rays. Time now for a Blue Jays Central update. Here are Jamie and Caleb. Another very, very good outing for Dylan Cease. 7 innings, just the 1 run allowed. It came as a result of a couple of walks in the 7th inning. 99 pitches, just 3 hits. He struck out 9. Another terrific start. The offense, unfortunately, hasn't been able to get anything done. So the Blue Jays are on the wrong end of a 1-0 game. And with an off day tomorrow, John Schneider can be aggressive. After Taylor Walls, it's the top of the order for the Rays, so that's why Louis Varland is in the game, Joe.
Threw 27 pitches last night in that scoreless inning when he came in late in the 9th.
Taylor Walls looks at a strike, and it's 1-1. You've got Valenzuela behind the plate now after Sosa pinch hit for Heineman, and you've got Straw remaining in the game in right. Swung on and missed. 1-2. And 4 double plays tonight. As this ball's lined to left, and Walls has a leadoff base hit here in the 8th inning. Well, for a guy who doesn't hit much at all, he has had some timely hits in this series. Tripled in a run Monday night, singled in a run in the 10th inning last night, and now leads off the 8th with a base hit here. Now you got speed at first, and you got Chandler Simpson at the plate.
Yeah, triple digits, but Louis wanted that pitch higher. Now he's going to have to try to keep Walls at first.
Okamoto in tight at third. Walls not going. Simpson shows bunt and takes ball 1. They can just play this so many different ways given the personnel they have here on the bases and at the plate. Swinging away, and he fouls it back. Walls being held on by Guerrero. Not going. And it's chop foul, 1-2. And that was really a chop right there.
Literally. Chandler Simpson's going to hit a lot of ground balls. That's his MO for sure. And you're not going to turn a double play on him. But that's how he tries to get on base.
2-2. And now full. And I would be stunned if Walls is not running on this pitch. Wouldn't you?
Yep.
Stunned. He's got speed. Simpson makes contact. Not going. And it's strike three calls. Is that a sign of respect for Varland's strikeout ability?
Well, it could be for sure. I mean, you can say that it's a guy that does not strike out a whole lot, but it is Louis Varland on the mound, just like we saw Dylan Cease on the mound.
Boy, had he challenged,
yeah.
Looks like he'd have won.
Oof.
The Rays have one left. The Blue Jays have both of theirs. And here's Junior Caminero. And that's a strike. Remember, Varland had to work hard last night through 27 pitches. Didn't give up a run. But he walked a batter, some deep counts. They fouled off so many pitches last night, so he needed 27 pitches to get through an inning. But Louis Varland, as we all know, is a take the ball and go out there and get him kind of guy.
Especially in a 1-0 ball game when your team desperately needs a W.
He always says he's ready to go the next day, no matter what. Dribbled foul, 1-2. Walls the lead. Not going. And swung on and missed by Caminero for out number 2.
We've seen Blue Jays pitchers use the breaking ball against Caminero successfully. Real good one from Louis.
Now Jonathan Aranda, who did not see Varland last night. Aranda a strikeout, a single, and a walk tonight. 5 for 9 with 3 walks in the series. (2-0). And Brian Baker, who generally speaking is the closer for the Rays, he's got most of their save opportunities, was down last night after pitching 2 in a row. But he is up in the 8th inning here tonight, and that's because the top of the order is coming up for the Blue Jays. So both managers, Joe, using quote-unquote their most trusted relievers in the 8th inning because of where the other team is in the order.
Sign of the times, right? They are getting their matchups. They know that this is the toughest part. These are the toughest outs to get.
Three and 1 on Aranda. Outside, ball 4, and the inning will continue. It's first and second, 2 down. Now for Yandy Diaz. Pete Walker coming to the mound. Do you think that was kind of an unintentional, intentional walk?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Louis Varland, that's what I'm doing. And the problem with doing it is you see the pitch count. Because of your pitch count, that's why they're on the phone. Louis threw all those pitches last night, but I think in this game right here, that's the right play. You can't have a run to beat you right there. Take your chances right on right with Yandy Diaz.
Has just been so hot, not only in this series. It really goes back a couple of weeks through the last Blue Jay series. Even before that, he's been one of the hottest hitters in the sport in the last couple of weeks. Mason Fluharty's up again. One nothing Rays, 8th inning. First and second, 2 down for Diaz, who's 0 for 3. Fastball low for ball 1. In there, a ball and a strike. Chopper. And where are they going to get the out? The runner rounded third, the tag, and he's back in safely. Walls rounded third. They couldn't get the out there. Guerrero went to get the ball when it looked like Clement was going to come get it, but Vladdy went for the ball, not to the bag, and they don't get an out.
Louis did not go cover first, but watch Vladdy. He had him dead at third. He rounded third. He didn't throw the baseball. He just held on and watched and watched and watched. So Louis doesn't cover. There's no play at first base, but he had the runner dead at third. He didn't throw the ball until it was too late.
So the bases are loaded, and now a pop-up. And Jimenez will make the catch as Fraley is retired, and the Blue Jays escape. And it is still 1-0. Big night on the ice tomorrow. First, it's the Canadians and the Sabres. The series all tied up at 2, 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific. And then Game 6 between Vegas and Anaheim with the Golden Knights up 3-2. Coverage begins with Hockey Central across Sportsnet. Some Habs fans in attendance here tonight. Maybe they're going to Buffalo tomorrow. I bet you they are.
They're having fun.
They're having fun tonight. Assuming they are Blue Jays fans, they would have more fun if the Blue Jays could do some damage here against Brian Baker, who worked an inning on Monday night. Bottom of the 8th, 1-0 Rays. Top of the order, Springer. Didn't go, said Elias Diaz. Another one of those where Springer's torso spins around, but he manages to keep the bat back. Ben Williamson is now in the game at third. Junior Caminero has been lifted. And that is ball 2. Thought we might get a challenge there, but none forthcoming from Fiducia behind the plate. And now 3-0. Springer, Piñango, and Guerrero. .30 swing, and Springer fouls it off out of play.
Well, George was thinking one thing there, getting the fastball, and he got it.
Way inside, ball 4. leadoff man aboard, and here's Piñango. A single in the first, lined into a double play in the third, grounded out in the fifth. Takes it low for ball one. Haven't seen a ton of chase out of Piñango in his brief time in the big leagues.
That's a really good look right there, too. Now, he knows going in that Baker's got that good changeup, but he laid off that no problem.
Takes another one, and it's 2-0. Snyder, the pitching coach, on his way to the mound after a walk and a 2-0 count. He wants to see what's up with Baker. Basically a two-pitch guy, the odd slider to righties, but Piñango knows it's either the fastball or the changeup.
And it's good velocity. It's nice, 697 up top, so he is going to try to make that changeup be up if it is. But that's what Baker can get you to do, is chase that fastball as well.
Piñango, who the Blue Jays acquired in a deal for Nate Pearson at the deadline back in July of 24. Off to a great start in his first couple of weeks in the big leagues. 3-0. He's looking down to Carlos Fabulous. Guerrero's on deck. Do they let him swing, or do they make him take one?
I think he'll take one.
It's ball four. And the first two have reached. First and second, nobody out for Guerrero. Nobody up in the Rays pen. Guerrero has grounded into a double play, walked and lined out. And for a guy who needs a moment, this would be a good time to have one. Change up for a strike, and it's 0-1. Fastball just inside, and it's a ball and a strike. That was close. Guerrero 3 for 8 in his career against Baker. Swing and a miss, and a fastball, 1-2.
Sometimes you look for that fastball, and he got it, and he got a little bit big with that swing. A little bit long.
Springer at second. Piñango at first. And Guerrero shoots it foul out of play right side. Okamoto's on deck. Varsho 2 spots away. The Blue Jays 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position tonight. The 1-2 up and in. It's 2-2. Baker comes set and deals, and it's a changeup taken low, and it's a full count. Springer off the bag at second. Piñango the lead at first. Still nobody out. And the 3-2 pitch is fouled back. Got tied up with with a fastball.
So hard to lay off anything close with 2 strikes.
7 pitches and counting in this at bat. The 3-2 again, and it's way inside, and that'll load the bases. And still nobody up in the Rays pen. Baker has walked the bases loaded and brought everybody to their feet here. The infield is in. The batter is Kazuma Okamoto. Hooks it to left field. Simpson back, makes the catch, but Springer will tag and score, and the sac fly ties the ball game.
Okamoto knows in that situation Baker has to try to find the strike zone. Eventually he gets a changeup that stays up in the middle of the plate. Hit it hard, hooking it to left field, deep enough to cash in the tying run.
So now first and second, 1 out for Dalton Varsho. Fouls it back. Challenge from Fiducia.
Calls the ball, the catcher's challenging.
And it is a strike. So the Rays still have 1 challenge remaining, and it's 0-2 now on Varsho. And a swing and a miss and a fastball up for out number 2.
Right up top with the velocity, we've seen the Rays attack Dalton this way, up and away, and he climbs a little too high for him that time.
Out number 2, and the batter will be Miles Straw, who pinch hit for Jesus Sanchez an inning ago. At second, Piñango. At first, Guerrero. And Straw will take ball 1. Changeup, and it's 2-0. Tyler Rogers is up in the bullpen for the Blue Jays. It's tied at 1 here in the bottom of the 8th. Popped up, back of the plate, and out of play. Sulser is now up in the Rays pen. Lots of maneuvering from both managers here in this one tonight. Okamoto tied it with a sac fly. Two and 1 the count. Did he check it? No, says Las Diaz. He says he went around, and it's 2-2.
Don't know if Miles loves the call, but I didn't think he went a little too far.
The Baker pitch upstairs, 3-2, which means the runners get a head start. Clements on deck. Piñango can get going a step or two early. If Straw comes up with a base hit, that could make all the difference. inside, ball forward, to load him up again. And here comes Kevin Cash. Brian Baker walks 4 here this inning and is out of the game, and Sulser will be inheriting a bases loaded 2-out situation with Ernie Clement at the plate. Jays baseball on Sportsnet. We got some drama. We got some tension here between the Blue Jays and the Rays. You're looking at Ernie Clement, who is on his way to the plate. A bases loaded 2-out situation, a tie game, and right-hander Cole Sulser in for the Rays.
Sulser came in last night. He's the one that gave up the 2-run double to Hendrik Pinango in that 7th inning, the 5-run 7th inning by the Blue Jays.
Clement tonight 1 for 3, had a base hit to left center in his last at bat. Bases loaded, 2 outs, and it's just high. Ball 1. Pinango's at third, Guerrero's at second, Straw's at first. Swing and a miss, 1-1. Compared to some of the others in the pen, not a huge fastball, 92 there from Sulser.
Another one of those changeup guys.
Yep, got a cutter too.
There it is, changeup.
Outside though, and it's 2-1. Lifted it to shallow right field. Fraley makes the catch, and the inning is over. The Blue Jays tie it, but they leave the bases loaded. Tigers. They are playing the Mets tonight and tied at 2. Detroit at the moment 19-23, so a game better than the Blue Jays in the standings. Tied at 1 here, top 9, and here's Tyler Rogers.
Tyler Rogers had a scoreless inning last night. He walked the first batter he faced, but after Taylor Walls was caught stealing, he retired the next 2, trying to get his offense back in the dugout.
John Schneider and his ball club could really use a win. They have lost 3 in a row. They're 6 games under 500, trying to head out on the road trip in a good frame of mind. Rogers will face the 6, 7, 8 hitters, beginning with Richie Palacios. 1 for 3, had an RBI single his last time up. On the outside edge, it's 0-1.
See how far Valenzuela gets out there with his setup too, and I'm sure that's specific to Rogers. He wants to make sure that sinker stays on the outer edge. Out there again.
You can see he tried to bring that one back over the outside corner, make it look like a strike, but it's outside, ball 1. That's a strike, and it's 1-2. Like it might have been outside. No challenge though from Palacios. Rays have 1 left. Blue Jays have both. Strike 3 called. No, and I don't know if they're going to give it to him. He didn't do it in time, and that's what Eric Backus is saying. Palacios looked to the dugout and then look back to the umpire and then challenge. You can't do that. If you're going to challenge, it's got to be immediate basically, and without looking towards anything, most notably your own dugout. But had he done it earlier, he'd have been right.
You would think he'd be a little quicker there. The hitters have to know in this inning, at a 1-1 tie in the 9th, you've still got 1 left.
Now a pop up in foul territory. Okamoto cannot quite get there. So it's just strike 1 on Mullins. Outside at the knees, a ball and a strike. Ooh, smoked up the middle. What a stop! Jimenez to first, but not in time. And Mullins is aboard with a base hit.
Wasn't sure if that missed Rogers or he nicked him.
No, it got him, I think.
Looked like it got him a little bit.
It did
The ball was redirected.
Fortunately, okay. A 1-out single for Mullins, and now here's Fiducia, the catcher, who's 0 for 3, 3 strikeouts. He's the number 8 hitter in the Tampa Bay lineup. Shows bunt and takes a strike.
Keep an eye on Mullins over there. Rogers does a pretty decent job holding runners and being quick enough to the plate. This is where maybe the arm of Valenzuela can control the running game too, or we'll see if Mullins takes a shot.
Not going, and it's outside. A check over his left shoulder, and Mullins being held on by Guerrero. Outside again, ball 2. Popped up, it's foul. Does Okamoto have room? He tried jumping into the netting, but unable to make the catch. Tells third base umpire Chris Siegel he's okay, but he got the worst of that, and the ball hit the netting up above where he had a chance to make a play on it.
That ball hit him in the head.
Oh, that's what it was. It hit the netting and then it hit him.
I wonder if it hit the netting up top and then redirected.
Oh.
Sometimes as you're going into that netting, the ball can hit the netting and come back, be redirected. Great effort by the third baseman.
Two and 2 the count. Runner staying put, and it's down and away, ball 3. And Mason Fluharty is up again. Third time he's been up in the pen. The runner going, but it's ball 4. So it's first and second with 1 out for the Rays.
Well, more speed here in Taylor Walls, but one thing Rogers does do, he gets a lot of ground balls. Needs something hard right at somebody now.
He's getting nothing but left-handed batters, and against lefties he throws a ton of sinkers. Doesn't really throw the slider very much to lefties. Ground ball towards short. To second, they'll get 1. Good job by both Jimenez and Clement, realizing all they had a chance at there was 1 out, so they didn't rush it.
Got the ground ball, but it has to be hard right at somebody to turn it with Walls running.
And here comes John Schneider, and he wants Mason Fluharty with the left-hand hitting Chandler Simpson due up for the Rays. John Schneider making a move to the bullpen with the Rays with 2 on and 2 out here, top 9. Mason Fluharty into the game. He worked a scoreless inning in Monday night's game. He inherits a first and third 2-out situation, top 9, and it is indeed still Simpson. Kevin Cash, he has some right-handed bats on the bench, but he's staying with Simpson against Fluharty.
Tough lefty matchup for Simpson against Fluharty. He has really handled left-handers with that cutter sweeper combination.
Simpson hitting over 300 on the season, 308 to be exact, 264 against lefties. There's speed at third in Mullins, speed at first in Walls, and all kinds of speed at the plate in Simpson. The 0-1. Popped it up. Okamoto says he's got it, and he does. A big out for Mason Fluharty. Tied at 1. It's going to the bottom of the ninth. Of course, and lots going on here tonight. It is tied at 1 going to the bottom of the ninth. Cole Sulser is back on the mound for the Rays. 1 run would win it here for the Blue Jays, trying to snap a 3-game losing streak and trying to get their first win in 6 tries against the Rays this season. It'll be Andres Jimenez, Brandon Valenzuela, and George Springer. Swing and a miss, and it's 0-1 as he swings over the top of a changeup from Sulser. Play 0-2. If it gets to batter number 4 here in the bottom of the ninth, that would be Yohendrick Pinango. And isn't it funny, like, if you've been following the Blue Jays, you're like, yeah, I want that guy to get up, right? Absolutely. I want that guy up in a big spot because he's going to have a good at bat. Good take on the change, and it's 2-2. Rogers and Fluharty combining to keep the Rays off the scoreboard, top 9. Popped him up, shallow left. Simpson calls off Williamson and makes the catch for the first down. Valenzuela, who will get his first at bat of the night, came on defensively after Lenine Sosa pinch hit for Tyler Heineman in the 7th. That's ball 1. If you're the Blue Jays, anything close, you challenge her. You've got 2 challenges. It's the 9th inning. Yeah. Anything close, use your challenge. You're maybe a little bit conservative, cautious with it in the early innings, but when you've got 2 in your back pocket in the 9th, you're aggressive. For sure. One and 2. People watching know that. He's got 4 home runs on the season. Sulser sets and bounces it in. It's 2-2. Clement was up with the bases loaded in the 8th. Flied out to right. It's still tied at 1. The Blue Jays looking to beat the Rays for the first time this season. Stays alive.
That changeup really plays with his fastball, right? That 4-seamer's very deceptive. It's got some good ride to it.
Big swing and a foul back. You saw Fluharty relaxed. He's obviously out of the game. If it goes to extra innings, it'll be Jeff Hoffman. And he fouls off another fastball. Good at bat here by Valenzuela.
Not quite squaring him up, but just missing that fastball.
He does have a cutter he throws every now and again, but basically it's those 2 pitches. Strike 3 called. as he should, but was he right?
Strike, the batter's challenging.
Good challenge. Use it.
It's inside.
Hit the ball. 3-2.
They've still got one left, and it's 3-2. Again, the calculus of the thing, the whole thing changes the later into the game you get. Good job by Valenzuela.
I'm sure he feels like he's right on those fastballs, but he's just not quite getting to it.
Pitch number 10. High in the air to right field. But playable. Fraley shy of the track will make the catch for out number 2. I think if we asked Valenzuela the next time we talked to him, he would say, I just missed it.
He certainly did. Just a little too high and not quite far enough. A good at-bat by the young catcher.
So 2 down, and it'll be George Springer 0 for 2 with a couple of walks. A run on 6 hits for the Rays, a run on 5 hits for the Blue Jays. Each team has left 9 men on base. Drive center field, but caught by Mullins. And for the second night in a row, the Rays and the Blue Jays are going to extra innings. One more check of the Jays Care 50-50 draw, now over $2.2 million. The deadline is midnight tonight. Get your tickets at bluejays.com/5050. Top 10, 1-1 tie, and Jeff Hoffman is into the game. Pitched last night, gave up a run in an inning of work. Ryan Valade hit a home run off him. He's going to face 2, 3, 4 in the order, but 2 is not Junior Caminero anymore. It's Ben Williamson. After Williamson came on defensively a couple of innings ago. Chandler Simpson, the fastest man in the ballpark, is the automatic runner out at second. Williamson looks at the strike. After Williamson, Jonathan Aranda and Yandy Diaz. Up the middle, it's a base hit for Williamson, and Simpson will easily come in to score the go-ahead run.
It looked like he may have had Simpson picked off, but he chose not to spin and throw. And then he got set and threw a slider, but he left it out hanging over the middle of the plate. It's the right thing to do when you get that runner going back to the second base bag. That's when you want to deliver the pitch, but he didn't deliver a good one.
Now Aranda. With the win last night, the Rays are now 5-1 in extra innings and 9-1 in one-run games this year. The closer they are, the better they do. The Blue Jays are 2-3 in extra innings, 3-7 in one-run games. It is 2-1 Tampa Bay. Aranda tonight 1 for 2 with a couple of walks. Williamson running. The throw from Valenzuela. Not in time. Stolen base for Ben Williamson.
These guys just keep coming after you. Williamson has not been caught yet this year. Forced stolen base. Gets a good jump. Throw a little offline anyway.
Their contact ability and their base running ability really play hand in hand.
Sure do.
They work together very well, and they're a huge part of their offense. They do not hit a lot of home runs. They do not hit the ball very hard. Lowest average exit velocity in the majors. Dead last, but they are a good offensive team. A shallow fly ball to left. Piniango the catch, and Aranda retired for the first out. Simpson racing around third and easily scoring the go-ahead run on the base hit by Williamson. Can Hoffman keep it at a one-run game? The batter is Yandy Diaz. Just inside at the knees for ball one. Slider misses outside. 2-0. Aaron Brooks is up in the Rays pen. Kevin Cash has used all of his high leverage guys, but he's got to put somebody out there, and he will ask Aaron Brooks to work the bottom half. He was just called up from AAA on Saturday. He started the year in the Mexican Baseball League, signed with the Rays 2.5 weeks ago, went to AAA, got called up Saturday, and he's getting ready to work the bottom of the 10th.
Baseball. What a game.
At the knees for a strike, and it's 2-2.
He can challenge if he doesn't like it, so he can calm down.
Eric Back is saying to Kevin Cash he can challenge it if he doesn't like it. Let the hitter decide. A look back. And the 2-2. Shot weakly up the third baseline. It goes foul.
It's a very valid point by Eric Backus. That's what the ABS does. You kind of eliminate a lot of the yelling from the dugout. We've seen it a little bit from both sides, because if the correct call is made, then you're not forced to use those challenges. So you get what the managers are saying in the dugouts, but Eric Backus hasn't been afraid to be a little verbal with the two managers in this series. So I heard him last night with John Schneider over at check swing.
A run in for the Rays. 2-1 Tampa Bay. Williamson at second, one out, and the at-bat continues between Hoffman and Diaz. Again, the 2-2 runs it in on him with a fastball. Didn't miss him by much, and it's ball 3. With Jake Fraley waiting on deck. Steps off now, but getting back in safely is Williamson. Now the 3-2. No, not yet. Another step off. But that's 2 disengagements now. So if you were to step off again and you don't pick him off, then the runner gets 90 feet. You see this a lot more at first than at second. Runner not going, and it's lined and over the head of Clement into center. Another base hit and another run for the Rays.
It's another slider from Hoffman, and this one backs up and stays middle in. And one thing we've said about Yandy Diaz, not a pull hitter. Look at him just pull his hands inside. He just inside outs that ball just over the head of Ernie Clement.
3-1 Rays. Diaz out of the game. Johnny DeLuca now running for him. More speed for Tampa Bay. And the batter is Jake Fraley. This has kind of been the story of the Rays. They just keep making contact. They keep finding a way. They win the close games. They're making the big plays in the big moments.
They're a very good team right now.
Yeah. Grounded weakly towards short to second one, and no chance to turn two. Yariel Rodriguez is up, in case John Schneider feels he needs to make a change.
Well, Hoffman, like Louis Varland, both threw 27 pitches last night.
Two down, and with a runner still at first. Now Fraley, the runner. The batter is Richie Palacios. He went, and it's 0-1. Bottom 10, the Blue Jays have Piñango, Guerrero, and Okamoto coming up. Springer will be the runner out at second. Runner goes. Pitch is taken for a ball. Throw down is not in time. Another stolen base for the Rays.
And that's on the pitcher. I feel bad for catchers sometimes. Valenzuela, you just cannot make up this time. Watch the delivery from Hoffman. It's a big, slow leg kick. As a catcher, human nature is you try to rush, speed things up to do everything you can. You just can't make up for those tenths of seconds or hundredths of seconds that matter.
One and one the count. Now to play left side, 1-2. That's high. It's 2-2. The Rays took the lead in the 7th. The Blue Jays tied it in the 8th, and now the Rays with 2 top 10. The 2-2 pitch. A chopper back to the mound. Hoffman has it and throws him out to retire the side. Tampa Bay, though, gets 2. To the bottom of the 10th. Piñango to lead it off. Guerrero due up second. Okamoto third. The Rays get 2, take a 3-1 lead to the bottom of the 10th inning. Piñango, Guerrero, Okamoto coming up for the Blue Jays. And Kevin Cash has brought 36-year-old Aaron Brooks into the game. This will be his first appearance with the Rays. As we mentioned, he started the year in the Mexican Baseball League, a couple of appearances at AAA. He's got 57 big league appearances over a number of years, going all the way back to 2014. He's pitched in Korea for a couple of years. This is his first major league appearance, Joe, since 2024.
Just remarkable. What a story. Perseverance for sure. And this is when you're at the end of your bullpen, and Kevin Cash trying to pull out that one last wild card.
Springer the runner out at second. Piñango the first hitter. Pops it up in foul territory. Whoa, and it's caught by the catcher, Fiducia. Williamson almost ran him over right in the Blue Jay on deck circle with all kinds of bats and other stuff around there, but Fiducia able to make the play, and Piñango retired on one pitch.
Wouldn't you know it, another guy out of this Rays bullpen throwing a changeup as they navigate all those little toys around the on deck circle.
Now Guerrero 0 for 2 with a couple of walks. Takes it inside for ball 1. That's high, and it's 2-0. Maybe a rally cap will help. You can see Brooks not even looking at it. Springer at second. He is not his concern at all. That run doesn't matter. What his concern right now is that he's fallen behind 3-0 on Guerrero. 0 for 9. Another tough night with runners in scoring position. Ball 4. Guerrero walks for the 3rd time. So the tying run is at first, and the winning run will come up, and it'll be Kazuma Okamoto. And Fiducia and Kyle Snyder are on their way to the mound along with the rest of the infield. Well, if you're a Blue Jays fan and somebody says to you, who would you like to have at the plate in a spot like this? If this guy isn't your first choice, he's pretty close to the top of the list.
And the pitcher on the mound is experienced. He's been around a long time, but clearly does not have that stuff still. And Kyle Snyder's going to try to instill some confidence in him to trust that stuff. Right now, we've seen the sinkers in. We've seen a changeup from him. We've seen a slider. Okamoto has that information. He needs to look for a hanger right here.
Okamoto a walk, a double play ball, a fly out, and a sac fly. So 0 for 2. Springer at second, Guerrero at first. And the pitch. Ball 1. Not close with that fastball. The third baseman, Williamson, over towards the line. The shortstop Walls in the hole. The 1-0. A challenge from Fiducia.
Throw the ball, the catcher's challenging.
And it's inside.
Close confirmed, it's the ball. Tampa's out of challenges.
So the Rays are out of challenges unless this game goes to another inning. If you're out, you get one back in an extra inning. But for the rest of this inning, they don't have any challenges. And more importantly, maybe it's 2-0 on Okamoto. Ooh, did he have a pitch and did he have a cut? Middle.
He got a fastball right down the middle.
Two and 1. Down and in, ball 3. You want to drive him in, you want to win the game, but you've also got to be patient enough to pass the baton, right?
You've got to just zone in the middle of the plate here. Look for your cookie in one spot. It's got to come to you twice.
He went around, says Eric Backus, so it is 3-2.
And that's okay. Better to miss it.
Yeah.
Check swing. You see Okamoto was pulling the trigger, but that sinker had a lot of movement on it, so he tried to hold up.
Varsho is the on-deck hitter. Springer at second, Guerrero at first. And the 3-2 pitch. Low, ball 4, and they don't have a challenge, so the bases are loaded.
Well, he made a really good pitch, and I thought he had him. No challenges. Looked like it was a hair low. What a plate appearance by Okamoto.
And now Dalton Varsho. Tying run at second, winning run at first. Fouled back, and it's 0-1. As is so often the case, whether guys throw 92 or 99, they will tend to go with Varsho with fastballs up.
Staying up there.
Strike 2 called. Again up in the zone. Varsho opting not to challenge, so it is 0-2. Too high, ball 1.
We've seen him get on top of some of those pitches at times. if he stays hard up there, see if he can't flatten that bat out and get to it. It's not 98.
The 1-2. Remember the breaking ball, and it slipped out of his hand. 2-2. What a spot for your first big league outing in 2 years. The 2-2 on the way, and it's fouled straight back. Another fastball up in the zone.
I think if you're Brooks, you have to live up there. That's the pitch that you could probably get over better than any others. There's nowhere to put him, so if you're Varsho, you got to keep thinking up there, really trying to get on top of something.
Most everyone standing here at Rogers Center. Another 2-2 pitch, and it's hit to deep left field. It's carrying. It's gone. Just kept fighting them off, and Joe got one he could handle and hits a grand slam into the Blue Jays bullpen to win the ball game.
We have seen him do this at times. We talked about it earlier tonight. He has hit the balls hard to left field. He's lined up to the left field on numerous occasions. Brooks couldn't get anything else over the plate but that fastball at the top of the zone. Doug's got to be telling himself, stay on top, get on top of this thing, get to this pitch. He drove it out of the ballpark.
And Yariel Rodriguez is going to hand him that baseball when he gets back to the dugout. He knew he hit it pretty well. It was just a question of would it go, and it went. And with it goes a 5-game losing streak to the Rays, a 3-game losing streak overall. Springer knew it. They walk it off, and man, oh man, Joe Siddall, did they need that.
Could this be their moment in 2026? There were some stepping off points last year where this team turned it around. Hopefully in June and July and August and deep into this season, we're talking about Dalton Varsho's home run on May 13th against the Rays.
Dalton Varsho is standing by with Arden Zwelling.
Grand slam walk-off for Dalton Varsho. Dalton, this is a picture out of their bullpen with multiple pitches. You've never seen them before. How did you decide on an approach?
Got lucky sometimes. You know, been grinding as a team. I've been grinding myself. Just one of those swings where we've been practicing it and got it and didn't miss it that time.
This was a frustrating game for the offense. A lot of runners left on base. Just how much of a relief and a pressure lift was that?
I think it was huge for us. That's the offense we are. We just got to trust it, keep grinding every game out, and see what happens.
Dylan Cease, for a third straight start, throws 7 innings. How cool is it to watch him put it all together right now?
It's awesome. I mean, he doesn't give me any action out in center field, but it's awesome really dominating the zone and doing what he needs to do.
Dalton, congratulations, man. Enjoy the off day.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's going to make the off day much more enjoyable for the Toronto Blue Jays. Dalton Varsho walks it off with a grand slam in the bottom of the 10th inning, and the Blue Jays win the final game of the series, beating the Tampa Bay Rays by a score of 5-3. We'll see you over the weekend in Detroit. Right now, it is time for Sportsnet Central, brought to you by KFC. Take it away, Ken and Ivanka.